Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and I talk about all things lifestyle. In today's video I will be sharing with you to be a chit chat video just about vulnerability. The reason why I've picked this topic is because I think it's quite relatable to everybody as we are living in unprecedented times with the whole coronavirus pandemic, and it is a topic that I feel needs to be addressed simply because it's not always that people are willing or see vulnerability for what it is. Most of us have been taught that being vulnerable is a sign of weakness. It means that you are exposing yourself, and as a form of protecting yourself, most of us just try to avoid being as open as we should be. So I'll give you a little backstory of my vulnerability journey, or rather should I say my journey to vulnerability. I've not always been a person that has been, put myself in a position where I am vulnerable to a friend or to the other half, and that's simply because especially with friends, I underwent a time where trust was broken, and it made me then question myself whenever I was put in a position where I have to be vulnerable and let somebody in, because it's a very intimate space and very few should be allowed in. Unless that trust element is there, it is impossible for somebody to really be as vulnerable as they can be. So yeah, it's after reading Brene Brown's books on vulnerability, because if you don't know her, first of all, Brene Brown is an advocate. She studied vulnerability and she's got a whole lot of information on vulnerability, and also Daring to Lead and other various books that she's written. Do check her out if you've never come across Brene Brown. Also, if you prefer to listen, she's got a podcast as well. I've not been paid to share with you this information. I'm just sharing it with you because I feel you would also benefit from it. Okay, so then back to my journey to vulnerability. It took time to rebuild that trust, which was broken initially, just by, as you're growing up, you hurt each other's feelings here and there, and you have to gather up the courage to actually regain the trust with whatever relationships that were broken. And I've gotten to a point where I'm happy I freely get vulnerable with the people that are close to me, especially now. And vulnerability is where, for example, it's as simple as somebody asking you, how are you? You do tend to find that in the times that we're living in now, when somebody asks you that, you just say, oh, I am fine. Our initial response is always, I'm okay, when you know deep down that you are not okay, right? So why not express exactly how you're feeling within with words? Most of us tend to fail to do that, and that's simply because we have it in our minds that me being vulnerable is me showing a sign of weakness, and we always want to look like we've got it all together, we've got it all covered, when the fact is you don't have it all together. You don't lose anything. In fact, it's much helpful if you open up to your friends, your circle of friends, and let them know, no guys, I'm having a hard time, and then they might be able to help you. Even just them lending a listening ear is so much better than them not knowing at all exactly what is going on with you. Whilst we're on this topic, I'll just share with you a quote, one of Brene Brown's quote on vulnerability. Vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's our greatest measure of courage. So you being vulnerable is actually you being courageous, because it is a difficult thing to just open up your space and allow other people, like it's more like allowing for an object into your space. So it takes a lot of courage, but I think it's definitely worth it. If you're one person that has been, fighting being vulnerable, I would say try and find that courage to just open up to even to one person. You don't know what much of a difference that will make until you do it. And especially now with the number of, it's quite easy to be isolated during this pandemic. So I would definitely say when your friends check in on you, or when you check in on your friends and you start by asking how are you, it's very important to dive deeper than just the surface of how are you, because people are dealing with this very differently. There's others that are facing grief, others that are facing just other personal issues, within their relationships and stuff. So people are going through life differently, especially now. So it's even more important to exercise vulnerability at this time, because the more you allow others to know exactly what you're dealing with, the easier it will be for you to get back to your normal self. I'll share another quote by Brene Brown, which says, "Vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. Truth and courage aren't always comfortable, but they're never a weakness." So whenever you feel like you are failing to be vulnerable, just remember it is not a sign of weakness. It is actually a sign of courage. So there you have it. I hope this encourages you. If you have been failing to be vulnerable when you need be, especially now, do not suffer in silence. Be open to other people, and also to others that have no problem being vulnerable. I would say that when you check in on your friends, you say, "Hi, how are you?" Whatever. Try and dig deeper than just the surface of "Hi, how are you?" Find out exactly how the other person is. Be that listening ear, because not everybody finds it easy to tell you exactly how they are feeling, and yet they might be going through a lot. So it's really important to be that listening ear. Okay, so that is all I had for you today. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to comment down below what your thoughts are on vulnerability. Do you find it difficult to be vulnerable? I will be happy to hear whatever you share with me. And since you reached this far and not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, and also don't forget to hit that notification bell to remind you whenever I have a new video. Until then, take care.